our power. We always had a voice. We just weren't allowed to use it.
When big names talk, they talk to the BBC.
This is BBC News. We're live from London this evening outside Buckingham Palace with our continuing coverage of the coronation of Their Majesties King Charles and Queen Camilla. Despite the rain, huge crowds came here today to greet the royal party. A moment in history as the St Edward's crown was placed on the King's head by the Archbishop of Canterbury at Westminster Abbey.
God save the King! God save the King!
Camilla was the first Queen Consort to be crowned since the late Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, back in 1937. And a personal moment between King and heir. William wishes his father good luck with a kiss.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you, and faith and truth I will bear unto you, as your liege man of life and limb. So help me God.
After the ceremony, the royal couple headed back to Buckingham Palace as the crowds cheered along the Mall. And the weather causes a scaled-down flypast, though the red arrows did delight the crowd.
I'm getting is like at some point.
You will see from the fact that the Union flag is now flying above Buckingham Palace that the King is no longer in residence. All focus now shifting to events tomorrow. The coronation parties that will be up and down the country, the street parties, millions to take part in those, and of course the concert, which you will be attending tomorrow.
Yeah, though I won't be singing, luckily, because I am tone deaf, so no one would want me to be singing, but I am going to be at Windsor tomorrow. It's exciting.
Yes, and there will be a lunch along the Royal Mile. Yeah,
that Queen Camilla is the patron of, so who knows whether she might make an appearance. Everyone's hoping at Windsor that we may see them tomorrow. We don't know how much we're going to see of them. Dignitaries, of course, been invited to the concert in the evening, a whole host of big lineup names that are going to be singing at that. So that'll be exciting. It continues.
Let's take a look back, though, at the day, because, of course, there has been no event quite like it in the last 7 decades. Not since 1953 have we had a coronation. Here you see King Charles with his hand upon the Bible, crowned in a ceremony that was rich in colour, rich in tapestry, with music and symbolism at London's Westminster Abbey. His Queen, Camilla, was also crowned in a service which included representatives from a range of faiths across the UK and the Commonwealth. A coronation that was watched by world leaders, including 90 heads of state and celebrities inside the Abbey.
Of course, not just here in the UK, because millions of people watched this around the world. It was being televised everywhere. The American First Lady, Jill Biden, there arriving with her granddaughter. President Biden himself did not come, in keeping with American tradition. The French President, Emmanuel Macron, First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska, she was also there in the Abbey, as were leaders of Commonwealth countries and the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, who gave a reading from the Bible during the coronation service.
And in the most sacred part of the service, here are the shields which came to surround the King as he was anointed, while the choristers sang Handel's Zadok the Priest, which has been performed at every coronation since the early 18th century. And once that was over and the King reappeared, Prince William made a pledge of loyalty to the King before members of the congregation were invited to offer their own support.
Thousands of people, of course, lined the streets despite the rain to see the King and Queen as they returned to Buckingham Palace in that extraordinary gold state coach that was first used. Apparently incredibly uncomfortable, but look, it looked fabulous.
It looks the part.
Yeah, back from 1831, it really does. And if you think back to the coronation, of course, of Queen Elizabeth II, they wouldn't have seen that in all of its glorious Technicolor. They just would have seen it in black and white. But when you see it in colour, wow, is it gold. The flag-waving crowd cheered as the coach drawn by 8 horses drove by. They were accompanied by a procession made up of 4,000 military personnel, all marching in perfect step.
And this is what the people came to see, the King and the Queen on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. Not just once, but twice, actually. They reappeared after this appearance with the family, a slimmed-down royalty. And then, of course, came the Red Arrows, a slimmed-down royal flypast today. There were supposed to be 68 aircraft involved, but it rained, and so we were left with the Red Arrows. But not a bad substitute, the Red Arrows.
People loved that. I heard the big cheer go up as they went along the Mall. There was a huge, amid all of this, of course, a huge security operation is in place for the event. Several hundred anti-monarchy protesters in Trafalgar Square jeered during the service as it was relayed to crowds. Several demonstrators were arrested. That followed the passing of a new law in Britain this week designed to toughen rules on public protests. Our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell, has been watching all of the events for us.